What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about one free agent I think the Lions must sign this offseason if he's available. So let's get it started. There's a lot of needs for Detroit Lions. We know that. I think some people kind of go a little bit overboard saying that we need every position. We don't. We don't need a tight end again. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There is one free agent out there that I think the Lions must sign because it fills one of our biggest needs. Now, interior defensive lineman, obviously, there's a lot of ways we can go with that, but we need it. I still see that as our biggest need. However, this is a big need, but I think in free agency, we can fill it out very, very well if he is available. Now, free agency for the right tackle position, I'm just kind of gonna tell you what's going on here. So basically, we're looking at right tackles to replace Rick Wagner. Let's make it simple. That's the big need. Our offensive line, our only really weak spot is the right tackle. Everywhere else was pretty good last season. Left guard, a little bit like that. But right tackle, very, very bad. I'll get to the numbers in a second. But we need a right tackle, and free agency is kind of not too good for right tackles. I mean, you look through the right tackles that are going to be unrestricted free agents in 2020, there's just not a lot of good ones. There is one guy out there, however, that is a very good player, still pretty young, and would fill the Lions' need very, very well. So let's go through our offensive line right now so I can tell you guys kind of what I'm talking about and what you should look for. Basically, the Lions ranked 11th as a total unit as an offensive line in 2019. 11th. They were 11th in the league. That's really good. I mean, the Lions? Really? What? Yes, they ranked that high. And we did read something yesterday about how they were ranked so high as a blocking unit, but they're still not running the football well. So I guess they kind of go hand in hand. So yeah, I can see how this is definitely true. Wagner, Decker, Glasgow, all of those guys played really well last season, okay? Especially Decker. He surprised me because he's been not very good until last season was probably his best year. And then when you look according to Pro Football Focus, grade by grade for every single player across the line of scrimmage, you'll see that Rick Wagner is the obvious problem on the offensive line. Let's go through it. So starting off with Taylor Decker all the way on the left, he plays left tackle. He had a 75.5 Pro Football Focus overall grade. Then you go to left guard. Now left guard's kind of weird because we had two left guards last season. We had Joe Dahl and Kenny Wiggins because they were kind of just mixing in and out. Joe Dahl did have a little bit of a higher grade because, he does it all, with a 64.9 grade. So like it's I'll go through the rest so you guys can compare them. And then Kenny Wiggins had a 61.8 grade. So you see both of those are lower than Taylor Decker by about 10 points. Then at the center position, Frank Wagner, who had a fabulous season. All right, once he moved back to center, he was even better. He had a 74.4 grade, very good. Graham Glasgow with a 74.1 grade. You can see both of these guys. I mean, all of these guys, Glasgow, Wagner, and Decker. Those are all above average to good Pro Football Focus grades. And then you see at right tackle, Rick Wagner had a 59. Yeah, 59. All right, come on, man. Like, that's not good. Okay, so you can see he's definitely the worst. He's the weak link on this offensive line. And there's other problems with Rick Wagner, like the fact that he's kind of old and he gets injured a lot. Like, those two things are definitely something that you have to worry about. Now, if we cut him, we would add about $6 million in cap space. I think we're at like $45.8 million, and we'd add about $6 million more for now, so we'd be at like 51, which is obviously better. And it gives you some money at least throw to this free agent that I'm talking about, or maybe other ones. But, we'd save a little bit of money. We'd also have $5.8 million in dead money, but honestly, I don't even care at this point. Just get a replacement. Just spend your money, get a dang replacement, because offensively, that might be your biggest need. Offensively as a whole. I think you bring Amendola back, wide receiver is not a huge need. Your quarterbacks, maybe you get a, depth guy behind Stafford, but like, come on, man, it's not a huge need. I mean, it's not something that they have to go out their way to spend like $30 million to do it. Offensive line is a problem. Running back is honestly not too bad. So we need the offensive line to be upgraded. That makes everything else look better. And like I said, just by the Pro Football Focus numbers, you can see that Rick Wagner was definitely the problem offensively. Left tackle, center, and right guard all played very well. Left guard was a little bit questionable, and I still say that you can upgrade that. I'm down for upgrading that, but I have a different way to upgrade that. I think you upgrade left guard position through the draft. I think second or third round is a great spot to do it. I see in the second round, you could get a guy like Tyler B.S. Oh my gosh, I know I brought it up again. Cesar Ruiz. There's a lot of guys out there. Ben Bredesen, Logan Stenberg. I like Tyler, though, because he can play center and guard. I think you could put him at that left guard spot and potentially be fighting for a starting job. There also is Garnett, who we did sign this offseason. If he's healthy, he could be there. He is a former first-round pick, so you never know. But either way, that's what our offensive line looks like. So yeah, Rick Wagner is the problem here. And but as a whole, other than that, we'd be a really good. I mean, think about it. We're the 11th ranked offensive line with Rick Wagner as the right tackle. Think about that for a second. If we got Rick Wagner, a great replacement, we'd be great. Okay, now who is the replacement? Well, like I said, right tackle in free agency, pretty depleted. Not a lot of great players, okay? Ladrian Waddle, not a very great player. Jordan Mills, there's just not a lot of great players out there. However, there is one player that I would definitely go after, and that is Jack Conklin. Yeah, if you know me, if you've been around me for a little bit, you know I've talked about Jack Conklin a few times. And yes, he's going to be very popular this offseason because a lot of people want him. A lot of people need a tackle, and a lot of people want to open the checkbook and say, hey, you know what? We'll pay whatever it takes to go get him. But they really won't pay whatever it takes because they already had other needs too. But honestly, the Lions should pay a lot of money to go get Jack Conklin. And his projected contract isn't that crazy. I definitely would pay that. But let's go through it. So he's popular. He had a 78 Pro Football Focus grade, which if you run through all of our offensive linemen is higher than every single one of our offensive linemen. Yeah. Higher than every offensive lineman. He's only missed 7 games in 4 years of football. All those games came in his 3rd year. In his 4th year, his 1st year, and his 2nd year, he didn't miss a game. He played all 16. So a little bit of a slip up there, but then got back on it last season, didn't miss a game. So there's not really any injury concern going on there. His projected contract is 5 years, $14 million a year, which is, it's a lot of money, but I think it's definitely worth it when you think about your one weak link on offensive line is right tackle, and you can improve that. You got to protect Stafford. You got to make sure he's not getting smacked on the ground because he's already had injuries. You can run the ball a lot better if you can block, and everything just works better. You're going to get your wide receivers are going to look better because they're going to have more time to throw it. Matthew Stafford with time is going to dot you up. Let's just make it simple. Tight ends will have a better life because they won't have to help on blocking all the time. Sometimes they will, but Jesse James is probably going to love you so much if you get a right tackle because he's like, dang, I finally know what to see here with Rick Wagner and help him block. He can actually go out for a pass, which is part of the reason that we brought him in. So that's really good. Now, run blocking, he's great. Pass blocking, he's average. I would say he's an average pass blocker, but that's still better than Rick Wagner, sadly. However, his run blocking, though, is on another level. An 83.7 run block grade by Pro Football Focus. 83.7, that was 6th in the league. Yeah, you're getting a nasty run blocker to go with this offensive line that wants to run the football. We just can't because we can't block that well, or we can't run that well. I don't know. It's one of the two. I'm not really sure. It's definitely a mixture of both. But either way, a new right tackle would help out. So like I said, I would definitely upgrade left guard through the draft. And you could upgrade right tackle through the draft. It's just, you're getting a player that may not be ready to go. Or you could get a bust. Everything's a risk. However, I think Jack Conklin, he has proved himself in the league for sure. That's why he's so popular this offseason. He's going to get a payday. But honestly, it should come from Detroit Lions. I would love for it to. This fills probably our biggest need on offense. Makes everybody else look better. And then we just focus on the defense after that. I think you can mix in some pieces on offense. We get a nice little wide receiver here and there. Maybe you get a depth running back. But nothing's huge, right? Nothing's a huge need for me. Offensive line, though, is that big hole on the offense, and it just helps out. Getting rid of Rick Wagner. Now, if you could trade him and someone else takes on his money and you get a pick, then yes, do that. But I still don't know if anybody's going to want him. So honestly, I'd be okay with just cutting the man. I know it sounds bad, but that's what I'd be okay with. So yes, Jack Conklin needs to be a Detroit Lion in 2020. And I really hope that the Detroit Lions decide to sign him if he's available. However, he may not be. The Titans may try to sign him back, which would be a smart move because you're getting a very good offensive line. However, they have a lot of guys to pay. I believe Ryan Tannehill's contract's also up. They have to pay Derrick Henry. So yeah, they're going to have some money to spend. We'll see if they are able to get Jack Conklin back. But if they're not, Lions, be ready because this is a guy that we need. There's also some other great players that we need, but I think you might be able to get them in other places. I may do another one of this, but this is that one guy that I think the Lions must sign and kind of fix this offensive line. So, I didn't even mean to do that. Let me hear your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.